All right, so we've got Thing in the Ice. We've got some Remands. We've got some Cryptic Commands. We've got some Jace the Mind Sculptors that everybody knew was going to crack Modern straight in half. So let's just hop into a league here. Yeah, I think we're gonna do. It's gonna be about a 3-to-2 ratio moving forward on the channel in favor of standard. So I do 5 scheduled streams a week, and I think the schedule is gonna be 2 of those are gonna be modern, and then 3 will be standard, and then any extra streams like I do like this one will be modern or standard depending on both what I feel like playing and like what's at the top of the queue. So like tonight we're doing some modern because I had 2 decks that got bumped in the queue. This one's actually over 100 points. Another one is close to 100 points. So I want to make sure I work through those. Like Cantrip or Red Source this hand is very good. I'm okay. You can probably hear it. I'm a little bit congested right now. So there's probably going to be some mutings to sneeze. I'm actually feeling okay. It's just very nasally. So apologies in advance for that. Rivera, thank you very much for the 8 months. Welcome back. Thanks for 2/3 of a year. And -3 Karn. So close to a sword I can taste it. What's going on? Feels a little bit bad. Why would we play Alpine Moon? Yeah, I agree. That's going to happen too. And the modern that we're going to be playing is I'm going to get a little bit more picky about the modern decks that I am accepting. So the modern that we're going to be playing on average is going to be a little bit higher caliber, or less likely to just be us getting bludgeoned. Just like hanging out getting bludgeoned in this format is not particularly enjoyable. I think I definitely want to play out my second Thing in the Ice here rather than cast the Opt. And the reason for that is next turn they're going to be able to play Reflector Mage. And if they bounce this Thing in the Ice and leave me with 2 stranded in my hand, I'm going to be very sad. No Noble Hierarch is good for us, so hopefully we can block this Thalia Guardian of Thraben profitably. What time is it in the US? It's currently 5 p.m. where I live. How do I become a higher tier sub? I believe you can only tier 1 sub from inside the app. If you click on this link and open it in your mobile browser, you should be able to increase your subscription that way. The last Narset Cannon stream was quite good. What time do I think I'll be done tonight? Genuinely don't know. It's going to depend on how I'm feeling. I'm doing at least 2 leagues. Might do more than that if I'm feeling all right and we have an okay number of viewers. I'll play it by ear. Hedron Plays, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine. Ugh. All right. Poppy needs a red source for Christmas. This was a potential that this hand could have done, right? I actually feel like Blood Moon isn't particularly good in Modern right now, and that decks like this are probably better served just like not playing Blood Moon and playing fewer basic islands to have more consistent mana. All right, we hit that. That's good. That probably means that I'm gonna lose this Burst Lightning here, so I can't play a second spell this turn, I would imagine. I don't know. I think a lot of the things that this deck is doing are clunky. If I'm being completely honest, I'm going to do my best to remain upbeat while playing this deck, but this is probably not a deck that I would accept for a $10 donation or a small donation again. I think decks like this are pretty medium in Modern in general. I think the more linear Phoenix-based Thing in the Ice decks tend to be a lot better than what this deck is doing. Yeah, I've always been picky to some degree, to be fair. It might not look like it, but I reject almost as many Modern decks as I accept. think I just go ahead and Burst Lightning this Kite Sail here. Maybe I've punted. I'm about to get Thalia's Lieutenant, aren't I? I'm gonna concede to a Thalia's Lieutenant probably. I guess I could cantrip into cantrip. I should have done this on my turn and gotten my Abrade back. They're gonna like Thalia's Lieutenant me here and make me very sad. Yeah, that was my fault. I'll be here. Yep. All right. Give me a 1-mana spell. I'm not dead yet, but I am mostly dead, so, you know, it is what it is. They've got another Reflector Mage. I am dead to rights. Yeah, I am very congested at the moment. Feel like I'm just gonna write that as a command rather than repeat myself a bunch for the next course of whatever. All right, so taking 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, the good news here is that unless they have a Kestig Malcontent, we should actually be in a pretty okay spot here. What's going on, Talran? Thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. Running it down the middle. Thank you for the 3 months. Welcome back. So we're going to snap Opt here. We're snapping Opt because all these creatures are going back to their hand, so if I tried to Burst Lightning one of them, I'd be very sad. This does conveniently put the Snapcaster Mage back in my hand too, though, which is nice. Yep. Yeah, we got a bunch of Modern in the queue, so... Op's a good draw. We basically just need to not die... We just need to not die to this stupid Mantis Rider, and we should be good to go. My hand's very good here, so, you know, let's go. So I can Serum Visions, Opt, Snap Opt, and then flip this other thing in the ice next turn, which is great. Oh, they have Reflector Mage though, right? Which makes things a little bit more complicated. I assume we're gonna see Mage come in and bounce this thing in the ice here. In what way does grouping the decks based on the powerful cards they are playing disparage anything? Please explain. I hate fucking Magic players. I might just put a language warning on this stream. I'm going to be honest, while I'm feeling like this, I'm not going to remember to not swear. That is a phenomenal draw. So their hand is Reflector Mage. It's Reflector Mage plus Kitesail Freebooter at the moment, right? Disparage means talking poorly about it, effectively. I'm not in for that. I think I'm in for an Electrolyze. I'm going to go ahead and attack for 7 here. We're going to upkeep Abrade this, most likely. Well, if I Abrade the 3 Vial, they're going to Vial in Reflector Mage in response to my Thing in the Ice trigger, and then I'm dead on board. So that's probably a terrible play. It is probably a terrible play to leave myself dead on board. I mean, you don't have to only say nice things. You just, like, better be reasonable, or I'm going to let you know that you weren't. Alright, so I'm going to kill... I'm going to kill this. Thing in the Ice is so good. Happy 9 months. What did you get for our Twitch, baby? Thanks for the support, Big Mama. Alright, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to cast Opt. Yeah, that's fine. And then this goes back to my hand, which means I can play out, Thing in the Ice next turn, because Awoken Horror got bounced. Generally speaking, it's bad to leave yourself dead on board. Maybe that Opt was too aggressive, because I'm actually dead to a Mantis Rider now. If they draw another one. Yeah, that was probably bad. I'm dead to Mantis Rider, because they have Kitesail Freebooter back in their hand. I guess I don't really have a better line, though. I think I'm dead to that regardless. Horror on the rocks, please. What's going on, Medic? Welcome back. So long, Abrade. And this is why we're dead to Mantis Rider, because they get to take our Abrade and then smash us. Maybe I'm supposed to maybe I should have bottomed this on the Serum Visions and then, like, dug more with the Opt to, like, try and find a Bolt to not be dead. If they don't have the Mantis Rider, we're in a very good spot. Although, I guess we're dead to either of these now. I have Snap Abrade, though, right? But they have Thalia's Lieutenant in their hand, which means I am dead. Magic's complicated. Maybe I should have abraded this in response. Yeah, I should have abraded this in response. I guess I didn't know that they had another Kitesail Freebooter, though. Maybe it's just correct to do that. Because if I Abrade this in response, then they take this, and then I can Snap Abrade this and not be dead in the air. Probably ideal to not be dead in the air. Well, I guess if they Lieutenant me, I Snap Abrade this, and then Abrade this one. So they have Thalia's Lieutenant, and then one card I don't know here. Yeah, it's Snap Abrade, right? But then I'm dead to any human, but there's not really anything I can do about that, so it's just where we're at in our lives. It's like, welcome to playing Jace the Mind Sculptor in a counterspell in this format. Just dead. Oh, Remand. This card's terrible, isn't it? It deals 4 if it's an artifact creature. I guess it kills Hollowed One. Is that where that card's good? Like, I'm trying to, like, think where that card has a decent text box. I, like, have to leave Cryptic Command and Jace the Mind Sculptor in my deck in this matchup. I guess Vendilion Clique's not terrible. It flashes and then blocks Mantis Rider most of the time. Mirror Enforcer, yep. Peace Boat. You are grouping them for a reason. Did you do it to celebrate for the field? I think not. Look at that. The PS watching the stream. Well, Simon Kempen, you're assuming that I did something and attaching a negative connotation to it. So, as people that look to approach formats intelligently in manners that make sense, it makes sense to group things that are similar. So grouping the decks based on the overlap of cards they have allow us to look at the format and see what powerful cards are being played overall. So you see being able to group these decks as negative. I'm just doing it because generically, this is the only way it makes sense to group these things. So it doesn't mean that it's negative unless you view being able to group it as negative. Maybe you're looking at this and taking away, well, maybe Modern's not actually that diverse. These decks are all very similar. Which I would kind of agree with you with that. There's so many things in Modern that it makes sense to group the things that are similar together. It's like putting blue-white control and Jeskai control in separate groups. Sure, they're different decks, but like fundamentally they're doing something very similar. I don't expect, just like for the record, whenever I point out things like that, people are like, well, what do you expect? Faithless Looting and Ancient Stirrings are the brainstorm of Modern. They're cards that are far past their shelf life and should have been banned 4 years ago, and I don't ever expect them to be banned at this point because that's just not how this works. They're part of the format, and if you don't like them, you should play a different format, I think. That's just how it is. I don't like that. It's one of the reasons I've been focusing on Standards since Standards become so good, but I think anybody expecting those cards to change or the format to be different doesn't understand that how long those cards have been legal. I'm gonna respond to this person really quick here too, except my Twitter is locked up. No Twitter. Oh, Twitter. Bottoms up. Looking for a red source, a red source, a red source. Looking for a red source. Do 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 do. We found a red source. Do 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 do. And that's okay, right? Like, I did it to group similar things together. Don't assume my intentions. Look at that. Can we be cheeky with our capitalization and responses? Let's be cheeky with our capitalization and responses. We haven't played Through the Breach Moon in recent memory, but I don't think any of these Blue Moon decks are very good. I think the problem with these decks all stems back to the same point. These are all decks that are trying to be control decks with just the card Lightning Bolt, and it's just not good enough. These control decks, Lightning Bolt isn't a good enough control card. It's basically what it comes down to. I think if you want to be playing blue-red in Modern, you should be trying to kill people, not be trying to control the game. I think the new blue-red Phoenix deck is a great example of leaning into what blue and red is good at in Modern. Be linear, be degenerate, run people down. Man, my body's ready to lose this Aether Vial with this Blood Moon out. Alright, it's a good draw. I think Modern's at a point where a lot of the... Oh, this was bad. I could have bolted two things here, right? Yeah, I could have bolted the Thalia first here. And then bolted the Lieutenant. Probably doesn't matter. Subbed for the emotes, resubbed for the sash. Thank you, Nerva. Welcome back. Thanks for the 5 months. Super punish for my sequencing here. So I'm losing my other bolt now. I mean, this gets blockers going too, Wee McGee. I think leading on Thing in the Ice there is correct. I think tapping my lands wrong was incorrect. Mantis Rider dead me. Yep. Good times. Lightning Bolt misplay, probably not going to matter. Young Pyromancer, do you mean Goblin Piker? Because I just cast Goblin Piker, I didn't cast Young Pyromancer. Look, all I'm going to say is if turn 3 Blood Moon on the play wasn't good enough to beat the premier 5-color deck that exists in Modern, the card's probably not particularly playable. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to lose one more match with this deck, and we're going to move on to Amulet. Short stream today? I don't know. Honestly, we're probably going to have like a really low viewer count this evening because the Grand Prix's going on and we're playing Modern on Magic Online. So I might just like churn through all of the really terrible Modern decks that I've accepted into the queue that are just going to like O2 drop anyways. Just like throw them all into the firing squad and just like cut 7 or 8 decks out of the queue. Blue is Keith. Keelf, thank you for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Somebody's got to pay for all these tickets where we're lighting on fire, right? Have a ban. I love how I've always talked about how degenerate and how obnoxious Modern is, but it wasn't until I started playing Standard that people started accusing me of complaining. So it was like, I'm allowed to point out the flaws of Modern, but only if I'm only playing Modern. That's the tough part, right? Like, that's the part I don't get. Like, I've always been very critical of what Modern is and what I think of the format. But all of a sudden, I'm just complaining about it because there's this other format that I can directly compare it to that's good, right? Like, when I say Tron sucks and we're not playing this match, people are like, haha, yeah, that's just Modern, we move on. But when I say Tron sucks and there's this other format we can play where we don't get Tron, people are like, why are you complaining about Modern? It's like, well, we've always kind of been upfront about what I think of the format, right? And I agree that there's interesting games to be had in this format, but like taking your head and burying it in the sand and being like there's only interesting games in this format, that's just some bullshit. Just some straight up bullshit. Thank God. Burn. Can I ever beat this matchup? Probably not in a million years. I've got 2 copies of Remand in my hand, chat. Bring on the burn, baby. Double Remand. Let's go. Let's go. I like Modern, but the coverage needs to improve. I'm just going to time you out because you're stupid. You just have zero. I love when people who have zero understanding of like how coverage works just like come in and like brush their shoulders off like, yo dog, I'm going to tell you how we can make coverage perfect even though I have zero experience at it. Let me tell you how to do your job even though I've got not a fucking clue what's going on. We're going to put a language warning on tonight's streams. I think that's what we're going to do. I want people to be able to watch my content around their kids, so I'm just going to let them know tonight. Tonight's content's not going to be watchable around children. Rexis, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The Pizza Leagues, 2/3 of a year. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back. I've had a lot of Dayquil today. I've not had any NyQuil. Thank God I have these remands in my hand, chat. There's no way they can ever possibly win through the vast amounts of tempo I am about to create. All right, here's the hope, chat. Here's the hope, chat. They've got 4 cards that require white mana in their hand. Because you know what? If they've got spells they can cast, there's no possible way we can win the game. Oh, green mana. Please have green spells in your hand too. Damn it. That is a spell you can cast, opponent. Which means I probably can't win. And second castable spell. Oh no, not a 3rd castable spell. This is my favorite part about these terrible decks when people submit them. Tonight's gonna be Brutal Honesty night with Jeff Hogland. How many terrible cards am I gonna have to leave in my deck that should not be in my deck against burn? Because whenever people submit these terrible blue-red decks, you can never cut all of the cards that you need to cut against burn because the people that build these decks have no respect. I feel like when people build these decks, they're like, how can I outgrind the blue-white control opponent? I hate losing to Celestial Colonnade. And then there's me sitting here playing against Monastery fucking Swiftspear going, do I want Remand in my deck? Or do I want fucking Electrolyze in my deck? Like, this is my, do I bring in Surgical? Jadine Clumperins apparently boards in Surgical Extraction against Burn. So maybe that's correct. She's a better Magic player than I am, almost certainly. I think it's Electrolyze, chat. I think Electrolyze is the least shitty card in my sideboard. I think that's the winner. I think the winner, and I have Cryptic Command and Jace Mind Sculptor in my deck still. We're gonna just like cross our fingers and wait to die. This will be on YouTube with a language warning. I'm gonna mulligan so nobody accuses me of keeping that hand, hoping to lose. Yep. All right, I mean, this is the best of the hands we've looked at, right? Rated R, Jeff. I mean, can you get rated R just for language? Fun fact. YouTube does not demonetize you for strong language. YouTube demonetizes you because their algorithm sucks or because you have hate speech in your videos. It's explicitly hate speech that gets you demonetized on YouTube. This is gonna be a great night of Hog. What's going on, Z? It's really 11 months. All right. My body's ready to abrade this Monastery Swift Spear and then die in a fire to the Eidolon that gets cast afterwards. I agree. I agree. Giving up a deck or two is understood, sure. But giving up aggressive matchups in general. All right, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how silly these decks are. So, and I'm not even gonna do it. We just played against humans, and I had to leave Cryptic Command in my deck against humans. Yeah, Eidolon, bro. Let me cast my Serum Visions and take 2. Are you excited? I am excited to cast my Serum Visions and take 2. Oh yeah, just not a Doomblade in sight, chap. But I drew another cantrip. That's gonna deal me 2, chat. Drew another cantrip. You know what's funny? People would always tell me that there were too many removal spells in the sideboard of my blue-red tempo deck. And I would always be like, well, that's the only reason you think there's too many counter spells or removal spells in the sideboard of my blue-red tempo deck is because you've never seen a well-built blue-red deck. Because all of these blue-red decks don't have enough removal spells in them. All right, we're very dead, and I am done playing this deck. The Hogland guarantee is 2 matches. So if you ship me a pile of poop and I'm not smart enough to reject it on the spot, don't expect more than 2 matches. Blue-red is not a good control deck in Modern. Once upon a time, in a young Black Star Mac, there are new people subscribing tonight. That's impressive. Thank you for supporting this C-grade content at best. I appreciate that. So Blood Moon ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to be. Ain't what she used to be. Old Blood Moon just ain't what she used to be. Do. How much to get Rakdos Burn to the front of the line? I don't know that I'm doing standard before Tuesday, Danon. I'd be happy to get Red Black in on Tuesday, but I don't think I'm doing Red Black or standard again, before Tuesday. All right, sorry, this deck. The fair decks in Modern have more basic lands in them. The decks that lose to Blood Moon, like humans, have Aether Vial and aggressive starts. And this deck isn't aggressive enough to not be controlling to some degree. And cards like Lightning Bolt and Remand aren't good control cards in Modern. They just don't keep you alive. And that's just how it goes. Just one more month. Eve Long, thank you for the 11-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, yeah. If you want to play a blue-red deck in Modern, you should play blue-red tempo, or you should play something like the Phoenix decks that have been going around that are very aggressive. All right, let's play a deck that can kill people. The Titan deck is not a deck that I regret taking. Amulet Titan